On a scale of 1 to 5, how excited are you when you start your day each morning? Would you still be doing what you're doing now, even if you wasn't paid for it? Hey, you with the shoes, are you living your dreams? Hey, you with the purse, are you living your dreams? I just wanna know, are you living your dreams? Are you living your dreams? Are you living your?
Yeah, it was interesting. I actually couldn't hear the music that time either, Diz. But welcome to Wilson time, boys.
I heard it just fine, and I'm living Joe dreams. So
I believe it was very fitting for COD. Well, welcome on, Big Man 3OD.
Thanks for having me. This is now welding time.
Yeah, I can't get over the owner of Dylan Wilson down there. That's just really grinding my gears, but well deserved. Yeah, completely shit on me, so must feel good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I had a lovely Thursday. Had a calm Sunday. Easiest fantasy weekend of my life.
God, how jealous I am of you. Just like sitting back there on Sunday.
Yeah, dude.
18 holes in, just hanging out, having a good old time.
Yeah, exactly. A little stogie in the morning, a little golf, a little glass of vino. Still scoring touchdowns.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Hey, it's just a win. Forget about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I actually went into Sunday with trying to have a sliver of hope and just a prayer. I'm like, maybe Matt Stafford too will just throw 3 TDs to Cooper Kupp. Who knows? Yeah. Instead, he put up pretty much one of his lowest point totals of the year, so that was cool. Diz, you got a win.
Yeah, a little squeaker.
Yeah.
Pretty excited about it.
Were you surprised or were you expecting it?
No, because over the weekend I became a devout follower of the gods. And I am for the rest of the season too. So I pledged my soul to the gods and got a little squeaky win. And I was full clench on Monday night watching Achane just get the ball over and over and over again and him getting 1 yard per carry. And we squeaked it out. So Dirty's Diner 5-5 might even squeak into the playoffs. Who knows?
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Let's take it back a notch here.
Yeah, that's a big ambition, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was a pretty incredible win by Diz. I was watching that. Tron came upstairs, and it was the last drive, I think, for Achane to actually do something. I'm like, there's no way he's not going to get I don't know, just any I think he needed 20 something yards
20 by the end of it.
Yeah, and they started pretty far down in their drive there, so I was like, oh, he'll get it, dude. Achane can do shit. So I don't know. And yes, COD Tyreek scored a touchdown on me. God damn it! That was so annoying to see that. The Jamar thing was a little bit more of I love Jamar so much, and it reminded me I think Nut talked about it before, and that probably draft the players you like to watch play and everything. Jamar's one of my favorite players to watch right now, and to abandon him, I should have just spent the money on him and not Tyreek. But hey,
yeah. I mean, this is the first season I own Jamar, and it's fun. I'll say that it's very fun. It's very easy. Just plug him in there and just watch him get 10 to 30 to 40 points.
Especially with the stack too. You have that stack. I mean, it feels pretty good. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's a good year to have the stack for sure. That Burrow trade actually, I think, kind of, I don't want to say saved my season, but it does feel like that was clutch.
What was that trade again? Do you remember?
$12 cash for Burrow. It happened on the couch. Up. Yeah, Mike, Brand, and I were watching the game, and Mike had Baker, right? And I'm like, that was when the reports that Anthony Richardson was potentially gonna get benched. He was looking like dog shit. I was like, fuck, I need a QB. And Mike's like, well, I got 2. I was like, well, what do you want to do? And the Brand's like, I want a stack because he had T. Higgins. I was like, I want the stack. I'm like, let's do it. $15 right now. And I was like, hold on, let me actually think about this. Let's actually pump the brakes. It's 10 minutes that we're traded.
COD, I'll actually give you some kudos too, because I remember with the Devontae Smith trade that we were trying to get done. Or no, it was Jamar Chase. Sorry, Jamar Chase last year when you were when I was selling him off. And oh god, look who the fuck it is, dude. Should we remove him or Hey, motherfucker. I was literally, when I was coming in the studio earlier, I saw you in there and I almost popped in. And I was like, you know what? I should have messed with their flow. I'm going to let them do their thing.
We run on a different timeline, buddy.
How'd the show go?
I won't keep you guys. You let the big man have his time. I just got to come in here and say the Gobby Talks is better. Love you guys.
Oh my God.
All right, love you, Gobs. Thanks for that, bud. Appreciate.
Gobby doesn't know that Wilson Time's so big we get banned in Russia. You know, so
yeah, he wished it could be that big.
Exactly. Well, the one thing I'd say though is it's funny. This is the year T. Higgins. He's out all year, so this is just great for Jamar Chase. And it's funny that B. Johns really wants to make a stack with him because I could have told him a long time ago, T. Higgins ain't going to play more than 50 games. So.
Yeah, Brandon has a bunch of players that might not play more than 50% of the games. Jones, Higgins.
God.
Yeah,
I know. And there's a lot of people talking about Kamara. I think this is like the heftiest workload he's had in his entire career. And he's like 8-9 seasons in. He's not built like Derrick Henry, so we'll just see what happens there. But yeah, let's talk about. I mean, we're already kind of getting into it, so let's talk about last week. Any big surprises? Sudi, you're our guest of honor.
I mean, I didn't expect to drop almost all-time record there for me per personal scoring, but honestly, I was shocked. It feels like every goddamn Monday is like down to the wire. It's like. Just ass clenching on Monday for at least 2 people, sometimes 3, sometimes 4. It's crazy. I don't want to call Diz out, but I feel like how the hell is Diz finding a way to win?
Or how is Trone finding a way to win?
I was on my knees. Please, Lord.
It's like, also, how does Trone keep finding a way to lose? Like, I wish we knew the start, or they were doing the start and sit accuracy, so we could track that over the years. And maybe we should start doing that. But I feel like Trone's got to be like historically low, because if you look at his like max points for, it's pretty crazy. Like he actually, what is he? He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's 6th in the league for max points for. For reference, I am second to last. So there you go.
The other one I just wanted to point out too is that Big Fog over here would have won with the Steelers D. So I just had to personally say that on this, on the show.
Yeah, trust me, I tortured myself all day thinking about these things. What if Jake Moody just made one more kick? What if what if I started the Steelers defense? What if I didn't trade George Pickens? All these different things, right? I think I was trying to do it for the people, man. Like, what would be better, not losing one week and the next week trying to push Cal out of the playoffs for everybody? We would all have a great old time, but I just couldn't get it done.
I was rooting for you, bud. I don't want Cal at 5-5 too. Like I said, everyone's 5-5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was no. And to your point, the Cleaner and I talked about it last week, and it's just ironic that it came down to the same thing again for us this week, and we both end up getting L's because of it. But yeah, it was just like, dude, I am so fucking tired because I think the last 3 weeks I went into the Monday matchup with a lead, and I have to sit there, and we've all talked about this, right? There's nothing worse than having a lead and watching it slowly dwindle away and have to like prepare yourself mentally for what's happening. Because that whole game, dude, I was like, it started out, Puka didn't look too bad, or he was looking pretty shitty at the beginning, and then it just got worse and worse and worse, and then I just kind of at the end he kind of just crumbled.
I mean, I can feel that because that Nut game, that Monday night game against Nut, I was up like 35 points. I was like, there's no way. Like I start looking at the score. I'm like, holy shit, he's up. He's within 20. He's within 10. I was like, he's gonna win this game.
He's going all the way. Yeah. What surprised you, Red? Was there anything of note that you thought of?
Surprising, like obviously, like CODs, like 2 players almost scoring 100 points total is pretty bonkers. Like last year, I'm pretty sure Nut scored like 170 points on me last year. I think it's like a league record, 172 or something like that.
It is.
And so, but that was the BFFL.com. like 3 or 4 people were scoring 20 to 30 points, but in this case, it was just 2 people really just kind of just laying it all on you. But I think that one, and then the other surprise that I had is, yeah, dude, honestly, I think the biggest surprise is how many 5-5 teams. I think there was a lot of matchups that came down to where like it could have shook out a different way, where there's only a couple 5-5 teams and a couple people went downhill. So some people squeaked it out, i.e. Diz.
Yes, sir. So places 6 through 11 are all 5-5. That's wild.
Yeah, that's Shy Guy making a late push. You know, the underdog pusher.
TD Inc. shares are up.
Shares are up. There we go.
I've been telling everybody invest. Yeah, Diz, what jumped out to you? We got dirty sloppy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the dirtiest matchup of the week kind of surprised me. I really thought that Gabi was going to get another win this week. But his team's just bad enough. I say his team's bad, but he scored like 12 more points than mine.
Keeping it real.
Yeah, so I was surprised to see Jaden take the W here. And Jesse's team only putting up 67, which my team would have beaten. But yeah, 67 points, not a great performance by the Tuggernauts.
No, definitely not. We all picked Gabi to beat Jaden last week. Again, it's like looking at Gabi's team, at least he had more of a complete team. And it's just Jaden's the RB2, dude, that we're going to keep talking about all year long. But, yeah, Jaden squeaked it out. Marvin Harrison, dude, I'm telling you, he's going to start coming on.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Okay. Cool the Jets, boys. Okay. You better than AJ Brown.
Yeah. We're past that part. We're not going.
But like, let's think about this. Kyler Murray, he goes like has a good game, has a couple shitty games, has a good game, has a couple shitty. It's like it's gonna be inconsistent. But yeah.
No. But yeah, you're not looking at the schedule close enough there. You need to open up your eyes a little bit.
It's all right. I have James Conner and Trey McBride. I don't want anything to do with Marvin Harrison.
Well, we're not talking about that. Yeah, for me, it was definitely, pretty obvious COD. Like, I did expect a big game out of Jamar and Cool Joe, but not that big. Jesus. Yeah, it was like the first touchdown, it was like, all right, we expected this. Shot that out to you guys. And then it was like, dude, the next drive, I think it was, he gets that huge touchdown. And I'm like,
on like the first play of that drive. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, bro, they didn't even take any time off the clock. And the Ravens, I'm like, okay, yes, you guys are bad in the secondary. So double team the one dude out there that can burn you. At least they had that rookie out there on an island trying to guard him. I'm like, what are we doing? And they just stuck with it the entire time.
He's just so good at running it after the catch too. Like I didn't watch a lot of Bengals games. I just saw like the highlights of Jamar, but like now watching more of it and like hyper focusing, it's crazy how good the man is.
Yeah, he's
like I knew he was good, but until you have him on your fantasy team and like really actively like paying attention, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah,
this dude's dudes.
Well, and dude, it's always funny because there's a couple Bengal haters in our league. And they were always dogging, like, dude, not that good and stuff. I'm like, bro, no. Like, if there's anybody you're going to ride with, it's going to be Jamar out there. And I would ride with Joe, too.
Yeah.
Which I did to a freaking championship. So
fuck Joe Burrow, dude. Fuck Joe. I had him last year. I'm not riding
I know. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's just like COD's to his point. When you have him on your team, you're obviously paying a lot more closer attention to him. You're watching more of their games and stuff, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's actually he's the real deal. I couldn't really tell you about Malik Neighbors to be real. Like I've only seen.
I can tell you about Daniel Jones. He sucks ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Not good.
Demon.
15 targets a game and 5 receptions, 50 yards.
Dylan, Dylan, you can take a little solace in the fact that even if you started Kyler Murray, you still had a really shit week.
Yeah.
Like you only scored only 88 points, which is
I was
shitty.
missing one of my starting running backs and all. It turns out that Cooper Rush is also very bad too, and the Cowboys are in shambles. So big mistake on spending a lot of money on that team this year.
That's tough. The whole CD thing too. Like I know he's gonna have better games in front of him, but it's got to be tough.
Yeah.
super bad. Like Cooper Rush looks, and Trey Lance. People were talking Trey Lance. Like, does nobody remember him in the preseason? The dude literally was just throwing like an average of 3 interceptions a game. He's so bad.
He's like bad Bryce Young, and Bryce Young's already bad.
He just launches it too. He's like a Baker Mayfield, but doesn't get any touchdowns. Like no.
I was reading, waiver wire articles and stuff last night, and there was they're like for deeper leagues, and one of the QBs they said to pick up was Trey Lance, and they're like, "Do you remember when he averages like 200 yards a game when he started?" I'm like, "Dude, he's played 3 games in his career, started 3 games in his career." I'm like, "Jesus!" Like, even as a Cowboys fan, as much as I want to believe that, it ain't happening, dude. We're going straight down the shitter. You got Jerry over there arguing with CD about the sun. So it's like
that whole thing is crazy.
It's so funny though, because like I supposed to end is like, that's such a grandpa answer. It's like literally what I thought my grandfather would say, like, well, why don't you go over there and play at this stadium, whatever. It's just like, dude, like if your star player is saying I can't see the damn ball and that's his only job is to catch the ball, like what are you gonna do? Yeah, you should probably change things up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. No, definitely. It's a tough year for the Cowboys. So, but yes, so pretty eventful week. These Monday night matchups, they definitely keep either coming to teach or somebody's getting taught. So that's a tough one. But the records, I mean, where we're at now, it's obviously a very tight race outside of like the top 2. I was looking at the Nut Report earlier. Not a lot of change tier 1, not a lot of change in tier 3. There's some shuffling around in tier 2. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about where we're at now. So we're past the trade deadline. There's really the only moves now are the strategy of playing the matchups, the waiver wire, trying to block your opponent, whatever it may be. With it being so tight, how do you see things shaking out? I'll just open it up. So COD, like, what do you think is going to happen? Or just give your insight, I guess.
I think it's going to come down to the wire. I think this is one of the most competitive years we've had in the league, which is awesome. I mean, it feels that way at least. It feels like everybody's in it still, except for maybe, a couple people, but the majority of the league is in it. And it's going to be close. I mean, everyone has a chance to make the playoffs. I mean, I lost 3 of the last 4 weeks scoring over 100. So, it's fantasy football. Anything can happen at this point. But yeah, you got to position yourself to play for the next 4 weeks. I mean, you got to play for the playoffs. You can't be thinking too far ahead,
Right. Red, what about you?
Yeah, honestly, it's gonna be a tough one because for one, I feel like in years past there hasn't been as many bye weeks in the later weeks until like the NFL kind of changed up the scheduling and kind of wanted to work with the load management and everything. So I feel like it's gonna be super interesting because like my example this week, I have a lot of starters on bye. I've talked about Calvin last week. Dylan, you're gonna have a scenario like this. There's gonna be a lot of teams out there where they're gonna be missing their best players when it comes down to crunch time. And I think that was one thing, and kind of like you were talking about, you're thinking long term, right? That was one thing that I thought about with and one of the reasons why I was so fucking frustrated with my loss last week was because I knew my shit week was gonna come. Like I knew I'm gonna have my bye week hell. And I wanted to get that W and get it out of the way because I was planning for this or preparing for this. But now it kind of shifts everything. So now I have to kind of like realign what I'm looking at here. And so, yeah, I think it's really going to come down to because we don't have a lot of people with a lot of money on the waivers. Like if we're looking at the teams that are 5-5, there's maybe 2-3 teams that are over 25 fantasy, fab dollars. So, these little tiny moves you're going to have to make, especially if you have bye weeks, you need a defense, things like that, could come down to, a couple dollars here or there. And some people don't have that. So we'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
I just want to say, just to build off that, I mean, I have 0 foul. I blew my load early in the season. But
yeah.
But no, I mean, I think the most minuscule things are going to make the difference this season. Like Nut alluded to in the Podly, like, points are going to make a difference this season, even. Like, it's going to come down to the fucking wire.
No, absolutely. Dirty, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it'll come down to points, and I don't especially love that fact for my own sake. But no, I think so. I think there's going to be some shockers moving through here because I feel like strength of schedule is going to play a big difference against good teams playing bad teams playing bad teams. There'll be a lot of shift up by the time that we get to the actual playoffs here, and I think there's going to be some people squeaking in and a couple of people getting pushed out.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's like I definitely think it's going to come down the wire. I think it's going to be for the rest of the season a bit of a yo-yo with the bye week. So people win one, lose one the next week. I don't really know outside of. I mean, Nutt continues to defy the odds, in my opinion, with his Frankenstein team. But Trike, I feel like maybe he could keep going. But everybody else, though, the 6 and 4s, the 5 and 5s, and I just think like it's going to be one of those like up and down, like a roller coaster. So points always matter, and you got to make sure to set the right lineup because Kyler Murray, could fuck me over in the end here.
COD has scored 1,047 points so far this season.
And I'm 5 and 5, Dave. We got the same record, brother.
Yeah.
How many points? We scroll down. How many points you got down there? Keep going down. There he is.
That's a big whopping 882.
Well, see, and that's the thing so indicative of like how crazy this year has been. Where I swear it doesn't matter how many fucking points you score. Like this year, it doesn't matter. Like, because
it doesn't matter now,
right? Because we look at these like record-wise, I should say, right? Yeah. Record-wise, it doesn't really matter because I look at some of these teams and a lot of the people that have a lot of points allowed or something like that, it came from like 3 games where people had big games on them, right? Or whatever. And then you look at the rest of their season and they scored like nothing, right? Like we talk about, like Nutt likes to throw the whole Trone aspect at me. Like it makes sense. Trone has a lot of points scored against them, but he also is bottom tier for points scored as well. So it's kind of like my whole argument last year where I used to find the one saving grace to make it sound like my season wasn't as shitty as it was like, oh, well, everybody scored so many points on me. Well, it doesn't fucking matter if I wasn't scoring a lot of points on them, right? Because no matter what, I'm going to lose. So this year, it's just so weird because we have these games. There's all these games that were, scoring 115 points, even Trone, 122 points one game, fucking still loses. Like, what are we, like, it's so crazy because usually those are locks. We don't have to worry about those things. This year, it's just been super weird.
Let me ask you guys this then. So going down the stretch, with it being such a tight race, and possibly, arguably, this could be the tightest race we've ever had amongst this many teams. What aspect is the most important? Is it waivers, matchups, or like Diz was alluding to, strength of schedule? So pretty much don't fuck around when you should win a matchup if you know you got a couple of hard matchups going. So COD?
I think it's hard to pick one, but if I had to pick one, I'd say it's probably the matchups, the strength of schedule coming up. I mean, you have to win the games that are in front of you. You don't really have an option at this point. Like everyone, you have to separate yourself somehow. And if it's not, winning the matches you should win, it damn well better be scoring points, I guess, right? But
let me clarify that real quick. I mean, when I say matchups, I'm talking your own lineup, like setting your players, and then strength of schedule is more of who we play, the team you're playing.
Gotcha. So I would say strength of schedule then, like going forward, like getting your W's. I mean, you've already got there's no trading at this point. The waiver wires, I mean, it's been paper thin all year. Let's be real. Like it's been one of the hardest years to get any talent off the waiver wire. So really at this point, you're kind of locked into what you got. So you better damn well win.
No, absolutely. The waivers have been barren since like week 1.
Even week 1 they were barren.
Dude, I was scrolling through like IR last night. I'm like, everybody's gone already.
It feels like every year there's been like a big hit player off of the waivers, and I can't really name one this year. I don't think. Like
Kareem Hunt.
Okay, Kareem Hunt. That wasn't even a waiver. You picked them up.
Yeah, there was. Well, I picked
them up before waivers because you had a goddamn Philly player.
That's right. You gotta be on your toes.
All right. Yeah, Red. What do you think?
I say for me, like, my strategy was matchups. I fucking knew that if I beat Cal last week, I'm in the playoffs. And I knew this week I was going to play against B. Johns, who is the least fearsome of the top 5 teams. And so I knew I was going to have a shit ton of buys this week. And I was fine just having all my buys ride against a game that I still could possibly win against B. Johns. Like if I had all these buys against another top 5 team, I feel horrible. Like I feel like I have no shot. So I did play my matchups. And it's actually funny because though when we were trying to trade with one another, when I was trying to get a running back from you, I was really you knew how I was feeling about bye weeks. I was like, I have all these bye weeks on this week. I can't trade for this certain player. And then come to find out, I actually had his bye week messed up, so I could have traded for that player. So that's fucking great. But so
yeah, actually, he'll have his bye week because we play each other when I have because it was James Cook you're talking about, and he's gonna be on bye when we play each other.
Which I guess in retrospect, it kind of helps me on the end. But
woo!
But yeah, for me it's matchups. I think matchups and we're talking about matchups as like our players, right? Because that also leads into a little bit of a strength of schedule too, because we really look at like it was a hard time for me trading away George Pickens because how good his fucking schedule is going forward, right? So it was like, do I get rid of like a Philly stack where they have a decent schedule coming up, or do I get rid of George Pickens where I don't have that stack and he has a really good schedule coming up? So I kind of played off these matchups. So that's what I prioritize more.
Yeah, and I guess I should have said this at the beginning, but they all tie into each other, right? So it's gonna have like a domino effect. But Diz, how do you year 3? What do you? Because you made the playoffs the first 2 years, possibly trying to push for a third.
Exactly.
So what's your mindset when you're going down the stretch?
My mindset, especially before the trade deadline, obviously had to make the decision of, am I going to just spend all my cash and try to make the playoffs, or am I going to, sell out and play the matchups? And that's what I tried to do. So my team going forward is built to withstand and not go to the Sacco. So
we'll talk to that man over there about it.
Yeah. So I based it on a week by week thing. The only real buy I have coming up is Chase Brown. So I think I played it well, and that's how I feel like it's all going to come down to who you're playing that week and the players that have good matchups. That's going to decide everything.
Right. So, yeah, with all that being said, now when we look back at the trade deadline, and I guess even further before that, were there any trades that you personally feel, either shifted your season in the right direction, the wrong direction, anything you regret? COD, do you have anything that comes to mind?
My favorite trade partner, Calvin, always hit me up for that Naj. Like clockwork, baby.
The Naj Mahal, dude.
The Naj Mahal, dude. It's like
a gem.
I don't even have to reach out to Calvin. The talks just start. He's like, yeah, I'll take Najee. Oh, what do you want to give me? And then boom, we get something done. Like, I mean, I was posting that last that whole thing, like what we traded Gibbs last year. Obviously Gibbs was kind of down when I traded for him, and then started blowing up. And then I mean, Robinson hasn't really done a whole lot, but I mean, I feel like just to get Najee off the team kind of helped. it was like a weight off of exactly. It's like, we're going in the right direction,
I think after this year, I might take up Jesse's approach and not draft any Cowboys next year.
Yeah, we'll see, bud.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I say that now. Yeah, I feel like the same for you, COD. It's like you always have a steal.
I'm not kidding. I truly blacked out when I was at the draft. Like, I did not want Najee Harris on my team, and I still ended up with Najee Harris on my team.
Well, how did you black out? Were you
I wanted Brian. I wanted Brian Robinson. I like that. That was my set goal.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what happened. I heard Najee's name come up, and I started bidding against Mike, and I'm like, well, I guess we're in this bid war now. I guess I'm getting him. And then I didn't have enough money to get any of the other players I had circled. I was like, what is happening?
Dude, only if Najee knew your devotion to him, man. Like,
dude, I should send him a tweet or some shit, just be like, hey, send me a jersey, dude.
I've had it every year of fantasy football since you've been in the league.
You make me black out.
I'll send that exact tweet. I'm sending it right now.
Oh shit. Red. All right. Anything for you? Pickens, maybe?
Yeah, like I think mine is to be determined. Like a lot of the trades I made this year, like I honestly, what are my trades? I bought Terry McLaurin. I sold Jamison Williams. I traded George Pickens, and then I did another thing. I can't remember what I did.
You did Kareem Hunt for Devontae Smith.
Oh yeah, Devontae Smith. And that one could work out because the first 2 weeks I had Devontae Smith, he's had his both best games of the year, and that could work out in my favor because Jalen Hurts rushing the football in tush push, and also throwing touchdowns to Devontae Smith. That could be a big time one. But I think to touch base on the George Pickens one, I think that might be my biggest regret. I think we will see. Russell Wilson has looked this way, and then we've seen him have his bad games, and we've seen George Pickens and how he's very emotional, and so there's a lot of factors that play into that. Like I like the Steelers overall. I have their defense, obviously, but like I just had I don't know. I had a gut feeling that George Pickens was something that like I don't know. Like I felt this whole year I couldn't really trust him the whole time, and so I had to get him off there because when it came down to it, like I was saying to Nut, I mean what I was going to tell Nut was if I kept Pickens, I have 4 running backs and 3 wide receivers. 4 wide receivers and 4 running backs every week. I have to pick to start. And it's like, how am I going to decide who I'm going to start out of these 8 players? I only have 5 spots. And so I just need to offload something. So I did, and I made some money back, but we'll see. That might be my biggest regret. Who knows?
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what the Panthers do with that Brooks. Cause I mean, it's like, dude, Chuba is teaching and
also just got paid.
Yeah, he just got paid. I mean, dude, he got paid pretty good, dude. It's like Jesus. So Panthers are always a shit show. At least, they got that going for them. Dirty. I mean,
don't worry about it. I know all about it. My rationale with the Brooks thing, and I'll make it short. It's just basically like I have done so much fucking research because I've had Chuba this whole year that if they brought him in and say he turned into a dual threat running back, like they said that he'd be his most productive when it comes to the fantasy playoffs. And so I was like, if that comes to the case and he becomes more valuable than Chuba, I guess I'd rather just have him on there just in case I need to slot him in instead because they don't have the best schedule. So
that's fair. I'll give you that. Dirty. Yeah. All your trades. Anything that rings a bell?
So I feel like the trades that I made up to the trade deadline, like James Cook for Chase Brown, $37. Woo! Saved my season there, Willie.
I know. I bailed you out, buddy. You're welcome.
Yes,
praise the God.
Yeah, keep praying. And then selling Terry was something I wanted to do. And then I needed fucking Dak Prescott screwed me again, so I had to get a QB. And then I was trading Terry, so I had to get a wide receiver. I'm pretty solid on all of those trades that I did. Really wanted fucking George Pickens though, so
just for the audience, can you rationalize why you decided that when I offered you Jerry Jeudy and the $29, you just didn't even want Jeudy at all?
Because I wanted you to do a trade that was fucking straight cash for a player. Your rationale was literally just like straight up salesman lies about who Jerry Jeudy was.
Well, guess what? Jerry Jeudy's starting this week for me, baby.
And so it's fucking Christian Watson, dude. He's like the same player. Like, get that guy out of this conversation.
Well, he's starting for me.
But to answer your question, Willie, my most regretted trade was doing it's kind of like a nothing trade really at this point, but Stephon Diggs for Zach Moss, and I gave away $10. If I could have just redone that, I was halfway done with the deal with Trone at the time to get Chase Brown from him. Would have saved me a lot of issues going down the season. So biggest regret there. And then Stephon Diggs is out for the season, and so is Zach Moss. So me and Gabi just like traded a couple bums, and now we got nothing.
Yeah,
I'm sad you didn't say our Ray Davis deal.
I like the Ray Davis deal. Yeah, the leash.
It was like pulling teeth to get Jaleel McLaughlin from you.
I know.
That was an exciting trade. Truly.
It was exciting.
I forgot about that trade.
We were doing a little party for me that day, and dude, I was just stressing. I'm like, dude, I got to get this deal done. I need Ray on my team.
Yeah, you're like, you're like, I need him.
we were celebrating Diz's sobriety, and Diz is over there just typing away on his phone, wasn't even talking to anybody. I was like, and Cal and I were sitting there, like, everybody's like, Diz, what's wrong? What's happening? And Cal,
I wish we had like a
trade right now.
I wish we could take a shot of both of us because I was on a boat with everybody, and like Cal, Alec and all them were down Zach.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to trade on the boat with Diz.
You're like, get closer to shore. He's service.
Yeah.
I want you guys to just take a step back and breathe for a second. It was Ray Davis for Jaleel McLaughlin, and you guys were stressing all day about this.
Great stuff, dude.
Dude, I thought Jaleel had so much upside.
He popped off the next game afterwards.
He did, yeah. Ray had a great game, but my team was so shitty that it didn't even matter.
It's too good. Yeah, for me, I mean, the one I definitely I think about, and like Nut was bringing it up, I guess kind of both of them. I don't know how I feel about the Kyler and Josh Allen trade still. I mean, Nut never mentions the whole $10 and the Rashee Rice keeper part. He always just likes to talk about just Josh Allen and the Kyler part. But I don't know. I mean, Kyler is having his best year of his career, so I'm like, I guess. But and the other one is Chase Brown, James Cook. It wasn't the best to go see the cannibal out there put up like, I don't know, like 8 points or whatever. Wow, Chase Brown
14 last week.
I don't remember.
He was your best player last week, wasn't he?
It wasn't notable to me.
What is Josh Allen's ranking right now? Is he QB 3?
I think he's 4.
Number 5.
5. So
5.
5, 7.
Yeah. So yeah, but it's not even so much those trades. Those are yet to be determined. It's more what I regret is the trades I couldn't get done, or the lack of trades. So I'll be the first to admit, like, this year with being full go at Buckeye and my life's just been crazy. I was like, I'm still in it, but there was points in time where I was just like, normally I'd be fucking blowing people up, or I'd be doing like stupid amount of research. But instead I was like, man, I'm fried. But no excuses. It's just, I really wanted Marvin Harrison, and ever since I had Kyler, I was like, I want that stack. And yeah. I know Marvin's got a good wide receiver schedule coming up. And yeah, didn't get it done.
Don't even try, buddy.
I barely even made an attempt. But there was like a couple of times too where I had the opportunity to trade Breece Hall, and I was looking at a schedule, and I'm like, God, it's a good schedule. And I keep telling myself, because it's so easy to spin the narrative, the overanalyzing, like, oh yeah, Aaron Rodgers to get this team up and running, like it's gonna be all gravy. Well, yeah, I probably could have got a pretty penny for old Breece, and I'm not that I'm not, I'm cool riding him, but
that's a good question for everybody though. What was the trade this year that you didn't get done that you wish you would have got done?
Honestly, there's really no trades that all the trades that I wanted to do pretty much happened. I feel like it was a pretty good trade year. I mean, I would love to have Pickens, but I couldn't go that deep on the Steelers.
Yeah.
We didn't really talk too much. I just kind of reached out to see what the price was. But no, I mean, I feel like I like the way my team is assembled. I feel like I kind of, if I have one regret, I kind of regret trading Malik, especially like I traded Malik, and Brian and I were talking, and he was not sure he wanted to trade Tyreek. I mean, Tyreek's been having a rough year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, Malik has been having a rough go the last like 4 or 5 weeks. So we're talking, and he's like, oh, I'd really like to own Malik my last year. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, let me look at it. And then I make that trade. And then like the next day it's like, oh, Tyreek has like a problem with his hand. I was like, oh, fuck, here we go.
Right. You're like a Make-A-Wish Foundation for time right there.
But no, I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's a pretty washed trade so far. So we'll see.
Yeah, he's like, I think that he's like, I need that youngin, that last youngin on my team.
Exactly.
I gotta feel young.
The draft night, he's like $30 from Malik, and I was like, oh my god, don't! I can't start this, Brian. Like, this is too early.
Once.
Yeah. Like he hasn't even thrown he hasn't seen a catch yet. I can't trade him already.
What about you, Diz? And did you said was it the Patron one that you said with Chase Brown?
Yeah, it was the Chase Brown, but now that COD brought up the draft day trades, if I could turn back the clock and take Nuts deal because he offered me $45 straight up for Pacheco. Man, we'd be in a different universe.
Yeah, you would have been, dude. How much money you would have spent in the regular season, dude? You would have been spending like $90. Like,
I would have been wheeling. Also, this is like the first year I was actually wheeling and dealing like every week, trying basically. And I didn't really love the experience. I won't lie. Very stressful. A lot of things to consider. And every single trade I did, they're like, dude, you're fucking dumb.
Yeah, I mean that sounds pretty
honestly,
accurate.
but that was like kind of like the whole thing. Calvin in the group chat or whatever was like, "Oh, you guys are the best traders." I'm like, I don't think anybody in here is the best trader. I think everybody trades, and I think everybody dislikes and mostly dislikes what people do with trading because it's not the way that you want to trade, right? Like, there's not really too many people here that everybody trades the same way.
Well, it's like the same thing. Like I know I reached out to you multiple times, Red, and it was like we're in the same position. Like neither of us wanted to give up players because we're both like happy with where our team is. So it's hard to find that like middle ground. I know there's people in the league for sure that love to trade. Like Calvin. I mean, his team has been different every week. So
yeah. Red, did you have anything?
But you already know mine. Like I already talked about it. That Joe Mixon trade will be burned in my brain for a long time. 2 yeses, sent out the trade offers twice, both expired.
Ooh.
Never got it. My season is like probably 2 times less stressful with Joe Mixon instead of having to fucking try to wheel and deal Chuba all year long. So I probably.
What was the trade? What was the exact trade?
It was Chuba and ETN for Joe Mixon. Oh wait, Chuba, ETN, and $10 for Joe Mixon. That's when Joe Mixon was out with his ankle. So I was trading for them when this is when Chuba was like the number 5 running back at the time, and then but that is my biggest one because it probably would have reduced the stress of my fantasy season by a whole lot.
I gotta put the wide set whiner on blast here really quick. I forgot about this happening.
You just gotta throw it out there.
On the trade deadline, me and Red are just arguing all day long. He's like, Jerry Jeudy, he's really good. And then I got B. Johns on the other side. I wasn't going to Jerry. B. Johns on the other side, I reach out, ask him for a couple players. Asked him for Ladd. And then I was like, yeah, he's probably not going to do that. That's fine. Asked him about Tank Dell. And I was like, what if we do like some cash, Tank Dell, and I'll give you Terry? And he's like, I wouldn't move Tank Dell for the life of me. I was like, what do you mean? He's not even that good, and I don't even really want him that much. He's just got like a slight upside.
I feel like Brand just irrationally loves Tank Dell because CJ Stroud said in that interview like he's the best whatever receiver. Like I would throw it to him, he'd be in my sets. Like the dude has not been good. I wanted to draft him, but the dude has not been good.
He got down. I couldn't even believe I was offering this, but I was doing like I wanted $10 and Tank for Terry. And now that if I did that, I'd probably be pissed at myself because Tank fucking sucks. I don't care.
Well, you got Nico coming back.
And fucking B. Johns' argument was like, oh, well, when Nico's back, Tank's better. It's like, well, I don't know. Why don't we look at how he did?
That's a hard sell, brother.
Good selling technique.
And B. Johns texting each other. He's like, this sales pitch isn't going to work on me. It's like, it's not a sales pitch. I'm just telling you facts.
Just straight facts.
Just go look at it.
He's not the wide receiver 47. Don't pay attention to that at all.
Yeah, but you should have been paying for him, Diz.
I'm just saying, Diz, this is the one thing B. Johns and I trading. It's been very rare and few and far between, and he likes to make it sound like he's literally out there trying to wheel and deal. If you look at the all-time transactions list in Sleeper, because it records it, he is 3rd to the bottom with only 170 transactions, and the whole time we've been here. Just for reference, the next closest person is like 281. So like, there's not a lot of things going on with B. Johns. It's gonna be hard to wheel and deal with that, man. He does not do a lot of things in the league.
Want my hot take? You get a lot of shit, Red, but I think B. Johns is hard to trade with than Red. He has decision paralysis.
Dude, I had decision paralysis here and couldn't even get close.
I made one trade. I think I've only made one trade with B. Johns in our entire DVFL career, and it was for Kamara. Like I don't remember when, but yeah. Was there anything? This popped in my mind too because we're talking about B. Johns, and I was just dying. So when I put right at the trade deadline, got home from work, and I was like, "Oh, got an hour." Put those guys up on the block, and my phone just started flooding, right? And so I'm like, I wonder if anything like anybody's gonna get a little crazy because they're trying to, it's like right at the last second. Well, here comes B. Johns into my DMs, and he's like, "Hey, would you do Cup for Pittman and $14?" I'm like, no. I was like, dog, I got 4 other people hitting me up right now that are willing to fucking spend a fat load. I was like, I mean, maybe we could ante it up. I was like, do like a combo deal because I need some depth. And then he just ghosted me. And I was like, all right. I was like, get your shit out of here, B. Johns. Brian also sent me a nice one too. It was just pretty much taking all like 2 of my starting running backs and Cooper Kupp for mid-tier guys. That was cool. Nice. But
trade deadline was pretty crazy. That was probably the craziest one I've been on. Because I was literally on FaceTime with Dill and Gobby as they're trying to make a deal. I'm trying to make a deal with Dylan, and like we're talking over each other, and Gobby's just throwing out numbers like $10, $15, and then I have Cleaner on the other end. He won't stop calling me because he wants fucking Pickens, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! I'm like, just send it over. And I told him 20 minutes before. He's like, are you gonna accept this last second? I was like, nah, I wouldn't do that to you, dude. Literally accepted it last second. Like I shit you not, as soon as I accepted it, it hit freaking like 516, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh
dude, yeah.
Shout out to my Gator brother. Me and him got our deal done in 3 text messages and a 2-minute phone call. Wow. We're like, hey, let's fucking do this. We reworked our own trade to make your trade happen, Red. So you're welcome.
You guys pretty much just walked in, did a handshake, and like, all right, there you go.
Pretty much, it was all dependent on Red not being a little wiener. So,
yeah, my heart was pumping so hard because I mean, and I'll ask you next, COD, but like I wasn't really ready for all that right at the deadline there because like I didn't really have time at work to make some trades, and I was like, fuck, dude, I do need to make like a trade, like I need to get some depth. And then as soon as I put those guys up on the block, I mean, everything just started coming in. I got Gobby FaceTiming me while I'm on the phone with Red trying to talk about our deal. And he's like, hey, Cleaner's calling me. I'm like, take that call. I'm going to hop on this call. And then we'll reconvene. And then I'm talking to Gobby, and Red's like, hey, what about our deal? I was like, dude, I'm on FaceTime right now with Gobby. And he's like, patch me in right now. And so here comes Red in there. And it was like the weirdest thing was trying to make a deal over here. And then it's like, yeah, Red, you listed it. That's what I'm looking for.
And this is the one thing that was so frustrating with Dylan and Gobby. They're both sitting there trying to input all the trades and stuff into their analyzers. And Gobby's like, the machine's not computing. Like, this isn't working. Like, I was like, oh my God. I'm throwing out people. I'm like throwing out deals that I'm like, this just sounds good in my head. And they're all like trying to analyze it with their analyzers. I'm like, man, like.
Yeah, that was the hard part. I was like trying to talk while reading and inputting all this stuff. I was like, it's not gonna happen, boys. Or like something's gotta wow me. But yeah. Did you have anything, COD? Was there anything at the last?
For me, I was really just a passive observer at that point. Like I reached out to a couple people. I reached out to Dirty. I reached out to a few other people. People reached out to me about Malik, but I mean, I pretty much had my lineup set at that point. Like I'd made the trades I wanted to make. Like the Tyreek deal happened the day before the deadline, and I'm really glad it did because it was like the conversation with Brian and I was probably like, it's really just quick conversation. You want to make this trade? Sure, boom, done.
Dude,
like it was no stress.
I almost was gonna say something because Brian had I was trying to make a play at Tyreek like the week before, and he straight up told me, he's like, I just love having Tyreek on my team again. He's like, Poppy's home, and I was like, dude, so there's nothing I could do for him. He's like, nah. He's like the one guy, probably him and JT are untouchable. And I'm like, all right. And then I see your guys' trade go through. I'm like, if it wasn't for that Malik Neighbors, I was about to pop up in that chat.
You just needed Malik Neighbors, and you would have got the deal done. That's all you needed.
You needed a youngin.
It was only ever going to be for Malik Neighbors. Let's be real. Brian reached out to me. He's been trying to get him all year.
Right.
Like we finally made something happen.
What about Wandale? Man.
Yeah. Average depth of targets like negative yards. Like
Yeah, I know. God. So we'll done with the trade deadline, but I want to ask you, you were saying that your trading season was a great year for you. Would you say it's like the best year you've ever had with trades? Was it?
I don't know
What
if
was it?
Well, the best year was the year I won a championship and just destroyed Neil's team, dismantled it from the ground up. But I mean, I feel like it was the most fun year I had trading. Like I feel like it was really easy to be like, hey, no, these are the players I want to keep. Like this is like, you know, I don't want to make this deal. I didn't have a lot of like back and forth. It was really the trades that came through. I mean, there was negotiations, but none of them were like I guess hard to finalize. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, besides Jaleel McLaughlin, that's
the hardest trade you made all year.
But no, I mean, I don't have any regrets. I like.
Do you think your trading? Do you think the trading this year was like for you was more like simplistic and just more like free flowing because you drafted a good team and so you were able to like play with a little bit more pieces than like in years past where you know I've been you and I we've been to the Sacco before, right? It's hard to make a deal when you got a shit team.
It felt easy, like it felt easier having the pieces there to be like, oh, I can push a little draft cash around. I can make a little like side moves here. Like I have depth at like certain positions. Like I'm comfortable, you know, spending money and trying to bolster the team a little bit. Like that deal for Keon Coleman, and that was another one I just like sent cash over pretty much directly for it. Like just making little moves to try to keep winning, you know. And it felt like it was easier to do when you already have a kind of set lineup. When you're not like I have to blow the whole thing up and start from the drawing board basically.
Yeah,
and I've had those years. They're not fun, believe me.
No, we know. That's Dirty and I were talking about that towards the beginning of the year. It's like when you're bad to start off, it's like, dude, week 1, week 2, people are already looking down on you, and they're like, it's so much harder to trade when you're one of those teams looking up at everybody. It's like the vulture's already out.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Like
so
week 2, week 3, they're out. Yeah,
it's not as fun. We talked about this last week on the show with Cleaner. I want to ask you, when you're going to make a trade, how do you go about? What's your process like? Are you already assuming that you're gonna have to spend some cash? Are you trying to lean towards more of like a player for player kind of deal? Where are you at on that?
I think cash is king in this league now. I think you got to mix the cash in there, baby. You gotta swap some cash. You know that oils everything up. It loosens it up.
Fuck yeah, that's
good. Yeah, the juice is flowing.
Well, with that being said, then, because this year, I mean,
I only made one deal that didn't have cash, and it was the Tyreek Malik Neighbors. Everything else I put cash in.
Well, and actually, now you say that, I think we've had the most player for player trades this year than we've had since auctions began. Maybe the first year, I don't know. I'd have to fact check that, but yeah, with all that in mind, this year felt like the market on players was just all over the place.
Well, yeah, you fucked it, Dylan.
Well, kind of, yeah.
You literally started out with fucking us.
But yeah, so COD, how'd you feel about all of it?
I feel like the market, for me, it felt pretty fluid. Like every conversation I had for players I wanted to trade for, whether it was Calvin, Burrow, smaller trades, smaller pieces, smaller moves. I mean, I feel like you start with like kind of the base, and then you throw a little cash in, and then there's a little wiggle room. But I feel like most of them started with some kind of cash or some kind of like. It's hard to initiate a trade where it's just player for player, unless it's something like I said, the Brian thing where he's like, I really want Neighbors. You probably want Tyreek. Let's make something happen. Let's make the pieces fit. Like people don't do that anymore. I feel like when you have those negotiations, they're always trying to figure out how they can not only better their team or trade pieces away, but position themselves for the future.
No, absolutely. That's that's like the thing with Brian when me and him made that trade at the beginning of the year. The first player for player one. Big part of that, and I've been preaching all year. Do your homework. Knew Brian loves Tyreek, so kind of like the same thing with the Neighbors. Like I wasn't surprised to see that go through. But yeah, so pretty interesting.
I do want to say that I think what you touched on something Dirty, that I think we'll see more trades earlier in the season next year, like big trades. People throwing around cash and like trying to buy players after the draft. Like I think that might be the kind of the wave of the future, but we'll see. I got some crazy offers in the first 2-3 weeks that like, I mean, when Alec was down here, I mean, he offered me like $30 for that for Malik, and I was like seriously debating it, but I'm like, I don't want to rip my team apart in week 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Already done that so many years in a row.
Yeah, we have to take a different road.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I think we haven't. I don't think we fully have opened up all the doors for all the strategies out there. And as we go on, just as we always do, we're going to evolve with it. So, let's move on to the pick'ems. And
the Pickens.
Yeah, George Pickens.
Pickens.
So, we finally actually have it tallied up. We were somewhat prepared coming on the show today. I was going to read out, give a little shout out to Cal 4-2, Trike 4-2, and Cleaner 4-2. So the guests are actually picking pretty well. So COD, big shoes to fill here.
I'm sure I'll blow that up.
Yeah. Red, you're leading the way, 33-15. You must know something we don't.
I know a lot of things.
Yeah.
Fancy gods, they're speaking to him.
He's the prophet. Dirty 27-15, pretty damn good too. And then myself at 22-20, so I'm living up to Cowboys' expectations. Well, maybe not this year, but the guests are 12-6, so pretty solid by everybody all the way around. So let's go through it. Let me get this pulled up real quick. Or you got it, Diz. We'll just start with you, Diz. Yeah, the diner.
Hell yeah!
Shares are up. Shares are up.
Yeah,
whoever's been investing is rich by this point.
Dirty. Is this your dirtiest matchup of the week or what?
Oh man, I didn't even look. You guys talk about this. I'll pick one. It might be this one.
I think
so. Let's see. 82.47 for you, Dirty. 84.58 for TD Incorporated. I don't know if you scroll down there for us.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, they're Herbert Wilson. That's an interesting matchup there. Diz, you're actually going to start him this time.
I am.
For him, and then you sat him.
Mason Tipton tricked me because I looked at fucking MVS all morning, and I was like, you know what, dude? I'm gonna fucking ride with the rookie, see what happens.
What about Herbert?
Well,
teachable lesson.
Yeah, fucking Charger.
Yeah, I can't believe you're Charger. You're gonna be on the bench.
You've owned a lot of players on teams you hate. I just want to say that.
Dude, I know. It's really starting to dig a hole in me.
He's owned every Chiefs running back this year.
Next year, his draft is all Raiders. I've been there. Just like when I draft all Steelers, you just have to go the exact polar opposite.
Yeah, for real. I will say my matchups. Okay, two things. Yes, this is the dirtiest matchup of the week. And my matchups are fucking hot this week.
Yeah. I'm going to go TD Incorporated. I'm buying in shares. More shares for me, please. And it's just simply like, dude, it's going to come crashing down. The Ridley, Addison, fucking Quentin Johnson. At least you got a stack. But Brian's got some hogs. That's the difference for me.
Sure. Dalton Kincaid, Gus Edwards, hogs.
That's not who I was referring to, but yes. Who you got, COD?
Malik is on bye this week, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
I'm still taking Brian.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think Russell has a huge game. The Ravens secondary is atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. And I actually yeah, you should know. And then I think that Taylor has a pretty big game too against the Jets.
Yeah, they're actually pretty easy to run on, it seems. Like, that's the way to beat them. Red?
I'm stopping at Dirty's Diner, baby.
Baby. Sloppy's on sale.
No, dude. Like, Calvin Ridley, that's my boy. I drafted him for a reason. But, and, dude, I'm riding with that Kareem Hunt against that Buffalo Bills. I can already see, like, there's going to be 2 1-yard touchdowns from Kareem Hunt. He's going to average, like, 1 yard a carry, but get a couple tutties. And, dude, I don't know. That Justin Herbert and the Quentin Johnson might actually be a pretty good stack, especially against Cincinnati's defense. if there's one defense that's probably worse than the Baltimore Ravens pass defense, it's Cincinnati's. So
Yeah, well, that's fair. I mean,
I want a sloppy.
Yeah, give him a fresh
come on down.
one.
I got a fresh one for you.
All right. So yeah, COD, you got Brian, me, Brian, Red, riding dirty.
Yeah.
Let's move on. So we got Tugger. See, this is going to be an interesting match. Well, all of these are. I mean,
Yeah,
you were 5-5.
Well,
TG,
freaking Jesse needs
5-5.
to actually look at Sleeper and change his lineup.
He'll get it.
It's almost
get it
Thursday
done.
and he hasn't even changed it.
Well, that's how Jesse rolls, brother.
I guess
He's also down in Phoenix for Giant Wood Convention, so might be hammered. But scroll back up for me real quick, Diz. Let me see the top there again. So I'm just gonna say this now. Like, we need to, and I really just don't even like this coming. I feel like I need to wash my mouth out with soap after I say it. But in my opinion, I think Calvin has the best team in the league right now. It just pure
I
players.
know. That's why I tried to take him out last week.
Well, yeah, right. So we need to do whatever we can to ensure that that man doesn't make the playoffs.
Y'all should have been praying to the gods for me.
I wished you luck beforehand, bud. You didn't get it done. You pissed him off.
You fucking bum.
So, but yeah, tight matchup, 5-5. Jesse, he's got some players. They just need to show up. Like,
He just needs Debo Samuel to go crazy.
yeah, exactly.
Shakir could have a huge game. I mean, I don't think he's going to, but we need Barkley and Debo to show up and just carry him.
Like Nico, if Nico plays against Dallas, I see him getting at least like, I think CJ Stroud misses him so much he might just literally send him 15 targets or something. Like I don't know.
Or Joe Mixon 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, I mean, it could be all of it really against the Cowboys. But God
Brock Bowers against Miami, that's not bad.
No, he's
Big
Even
call.
though it's a red matchup, I still feel like Brock Bowers gets his no matter what, right? So
all my machines were telling me Brock Bowers is the number 1 tight end this week. So there you go.
Kind of
have anymore.
It kind of feels like we're huffing copium for Jesse here. This
yeah,
seems
we
like-
are.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna pick Cal. It pisses me off, but Jesse, fucking, you ain't beat him. Take that man down.
It's always nice when you're projected 107 points going into the week. It's always
Dude, what did you guys think of Christian McCaffrey? Seeing him back, like, how'd you feel about his performance?
I think
he looked
he
he's coming
looks
back to
fine,
normal.
but that offense isn't the same that it's always been. Like that, like they were not running the ball at all. Like he was getting like 2 yards a carry. It didn't look good.
I also, I mean, I have not looked into much of his condition with his Achilles or whatever the hell it is, but yeah, I'm curious, like, if they are going to use him like that, because he was out there for a decent amount. How was
He was out there for 88%. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually didn't even realize that.
run this man on the ground his first game back.
And that's where this whole thing with Kyle Shanahan, like I can't stand him because I don't trust anything he says. Like the fact that this dude was
He's a known liar. He's a known liar.
Literally.
Fifth one.
Christian McCaffrey barely walking around the last 10 weeks, and all of a sudden you just throw him in there and just, hey baby, we're just gonna pound the rock with you.
Like Cal's calling the plays over there, some shit. I don't.
Yeah, Cal called him up. Hey, he's playing, and you don't pull him out. I got to beat red. What's your guys' picks?
I'm picking Steven.
We're going chalk, red.
Give me that Jesse.
Yeah.
I ain't picking Steven. He can go down in the sewers. I don't like him.
Well,
I don't like what he did last week. It wasn't cool.
I mean, could Jesse win? I could see it, but don't think it's happening.
Yeah, I think it really just depends. Yeah, like Jesse's got some shitty matchups, but I don't know, man. Like, just Steven's team last week performed really good, but there was a time there where like last Sunday I was feeling real good because his team was actually looking pretty crap until like he basically pleaded to the gods that Bijan gets a touchdown.
I do want to say one thing about Steven's team. I think it's hilarious that he traded Bijan after he told me that Bijan was untouchable, which is fine, whatever. and then trades back for Bijan. Like he's like, oh, I made a mistake. I got to get him back now.
Dude, it's classic. Cal is just known for that. It'd be like Deshaun Jackson if he traded with Deshaun this year, and he's like, oh, dude, spend $50. I need him. He's got to be on the squad. Also, one last little tidbit: Steven does have some pretty fucking tough matchups there. So
Yeah.
Josh Allen, KC, Bijan with Denver. Oddly enough, Tennessee actually has I think they're number 1 or they're top something secondary.
Yeah,
But-
they have pretty good secondary.
It's also just
You also need to realize what division they play in. They play against the Texans, the Colts, and the Jags. So
I'm just saying. All right, moving on. Steven, it's not chalk, so get taught. Oh,
Big
God.
fog.
Big fog.
there's
Wide set whiners. Yeah, COD, can you break that name down again for us? How that?
Yeah, let me
again?
talk a little about it. So Taylor's been preaching that Brandon apparently has at first it was a wide set ass, and then it became a wide set asshole. I don't know how that is what's a wide set asshole. But she's like, oh, he farts so much because he has a wide set ass. He's got a dump truck back there, So he's the wide set whiners, man.
Oh, that's good. I like the personal tie in there. It's nice.
You got that P round in there.
Dude, look at go to my bench real quick, Diz. Just go take a little gander.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, that is tough, my boy.
Yeah. So
She.
this was I've already said it earlier. I said this is the reason why I wanted to beat Steven so bad because I knew this week would come. But I don't feel too far off from old B. Johns here. Also, he's gonna start that T. Higgins. T. Higgins ain't playing, bud. Get out of here.
He's gonna come back just to beat you.
Yeah, he might, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dude, there's been a lot.
My revenge game against you, Dill, and then he'll have the T Higgins revenge game against you.
I was gonna
Would that
say-
be some poetic justice right there?
Yes, there's been a lot of that this year. Well, yeah, Red. I mean, knowing all that, I'm leaning B. Johns because, as much as I want to shit on B. Johns, the dude's still 6-4. He's been winning. It's just for how long? But yeah, I think this week I'm gonna take him. I didn't realize all 3 are starting running backs. Hey, this is a perfect time for you to put your money where your mouth is with that ETN because I've been dogging on him all year and I still think he's ass. So,
Well, good thing Trevor Lawrence is going to be out for the season. So, Brian with Mac Jones.
yeah, hey, your boy.
Yeah. Woohoo!
Yeah, so give me the wide set whiners.
Yeah,
Good.
I hate to do it. I'm going the same way.
It's all right. Every time Dylan picks a team, they lose.
I'm also going wide set. I do want to comment that if you scroll down and look at Dell's name, the most blasphemous nickname ever on a player. He named him Cheetah 2.0.
Oh my god.
Definitely having a Tyreek Hill type season.
Yeah, dude. Well, I mean, they're pretty comparable right now, actually.
Oh, that's sad to say about the free. Man.
It's true though. It's sad.
Yeah, that George Kittle too.
Kittle's been balling, dude.
Yeah, I play in a vampire league at work, and I have him in there. And dude, he's been crushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a baller. I feel like he gets a touchdown every week.
Yeah, literally, and it definitely helps with Ayuk out, and it's a weird year for the Niners, that's for sure.
Yeah.
This is the week Kittle stays in his hole. He doesn't come out.
I'm fine with that.
Wide set hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the white hole.
B-John's gonna let loose. Cut
Oh
it.
man, Willie, you're taking on the darkness this week.
Oh yeah, I have the Emperor.
And the Emperor has literally beautiful matchups across the board.
Oh yes, he does. Look at Drake May though.
Hell, yeah, that's nice.
Woo, dude!
Yeah.
Dude, that rookie's got something special about him. I like that guy.
I'll just say this: I could have just kept Stafford, and I was looking at it for a long time last night, and it's weird to say about a Patriot player right now, but he's progressively getting a little bit better and better, and the Rams D is pretty trash for the most part. But it's really, I'm just banking on that he's going to run for 80 yards or some shit.
Well, yeah, since he came in the league, he has the most rushing yards as a QB. So
yeah, I'm just hoping that he goes out and does that because is like weighing the comparison between Stafford. I'm like, Stafford can't move at all. So if he's not actually swinging the rock, then, well, yeah, what I had last week.
Intriguing.
I love that Monty too. It's pretty.
Monty playing against Jacksonville. Yee!
I love me some Sonic and Knuckles, baby. Gibbs and Monty. Great duo.
Old Cedric Tillman. Dude, I literally didn't.
Wide receiver 1 over the last 4 weeks.
That's crazy, man. I didn't even know who he was. I didn't know what team he played for. I thought he was on the Saints for a while.
He's a fucking Sith Lord. Look at this.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, man.
3 weeks, excuse me, not 4, but still fucking nuts.
Red, you're a big college guy. Was he a hog in college? Oh.
Red's done with him.
Yeah, he's so shocked they had to leave the stage.
I mean, yeah, crazy.
Just wild to me, dude. Yeah.
Jameis is the key, baby. Unlocked everything.
I mean, it's just like crazy. Like, I'll give Nuts some props. Like, dude, the man has a way of finding these dudes. Like his team right now, I keep looking at it and I'm like, I don't like most of it. Like, I don't even know if I'd start some of these guys.
Every time this podcast or Gabi or anybody in the chat says Nuts team is underperforming, I feel like he scores an extra point. Like it like incentivizes them. Like it powers up his Sith energy every time you guys talk down on this team.
That's so funny, dude. I actually feel like, yeah, that's pretty spot on. It seems like he's gaining power when we talk shit about him. So maybe we just start being nice.
Start complimenting him. Yeah. Great team.
Yeah.
Great team.
Slides out.
Well done.
Man, I'm probably picking the Dark Lord this week.
Woo, dude.
Yeah.
Give me a reason.
Brock Purdy playing against Seattle. I like that a lot. I like Monty playing against Jacksonville a lot. And then Garrett Wilson playing against the Colts. I mean, that's how you get taught. Also, the Cannibal playing against KC. Don't like that. I don't know, Brees. If he shows up, you might have a chance, but he hasn't been showing up. So
I know it's not even like Bowles betting back there really taking much away from him either. Jets just suck.
Yes, they do. I don't want Dark Lord to win.
I'm taking that. I think it's gonna be a close game.
Yeah.
I don't think you lose by 90 again.
Well, I pray that I don't. I don't want anybody to feel what I just felt. Like literally, that it wasn't even fun going into the weekend. I was like, I don't know what I guess I'm still gonna watch the games, but I'm like, it's just not the same.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys are picking the Dark Lord. I don't know where Red went. I don't know if his shit died or what, but we'll just assume he's picking Nut. All right. Neptune, you win again. Damn it.
Let's keep here. We have
we'll sees.
Yeah,
we are seeing. Man, it's just still so crazy to me that Trone has this record this bad. I mean, his start and sit is just so piss poor this year. It's like I don't know. It's impressive, really.
I feel like Trone should have made some big trades. I feel like that's what handicapped this season. I know it's easy to say that now in hindsight, but like he's had so much talent on his team, like he could have made some big moves. I feel like, and he tried to. He reached out to me, but just none of them made sense.
Yeah, 100%. Jordan Mason was the big one. That I'm like, dude, trim to a running back needy team when you know Christian, literally, yeah, somebody.
I would have probably traded him for him too.
I wanted him as well at one point.
He had like 4 startable running backs at one point, didn't he? Like
Chase Brown, because he drafted Chase Brown, Mason, HN, and Walker.
Yeah.
Blows my mind too that Darnell fucking Mooney is what is he?
Ballin'.
Find him this. He was like wide receiver 9 going into last week.
Wide receiver
7. Like what?
Yeah,
that's crazy to me.
Did I had some technical issues. Did I miss any other picks or?
Yeah, you chose Nut when you were gone.
Yeah, you chose Nut.
I never chose Nut.
Big and
Oh,
Bill.
you're going with your brother.
I would
huh?
never see this. See these scissors? Kill myself instead of do that.
He's like,
No.
but actually, I still choose Nut.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, give me that Drake May.
Oh shit!
That's right. That's right. There you go, Nut. Now you didn't win.
Now the gods are against you.
Actually, you did still win, 2-1, whatever.
And
So
we're looking at Trone right now.
yeah, we're looking at the Yeah Will season, the good old reach around.
I'm going Alec, and I say this every week until Trone proves to me that he can set the right lineup and win a game. I'm not gonna choose anybody else.
Dude, yeah, it's not with the players, it's the manager, the owner.
Let me see the matchups again. Scroll down a little bit.
So he's got Achan playing against the Raiders, which should be great.
Maydays.
And then Seattle and the Niners matchup is always weird. Like sometimes it's bust and sometimes it's just shut down games. So I don't know.
I like
Who else is he out? Who's in the flex?
We got
Walk
Zay,
him off.
and then
Help me, please, is actually hilarious.
Devontae. Him dropping 2 touchdown passes this weekend was poetic. First time I've had to play against him, and he's just an absolute bum.
Alec has that Pickens. Give me Alex team by $1 million.
1 billion.
Yeah, I'm
DJ
picking,
Moore's gonna score 0. Pickens gonna score 30. There you go, Alec.
Dude, I think I pick Trone like every week and keeps losing, so I'm gonna try reversing that. I'm going with Cleaner.
yeah, I'm
And
going.
Cleaner, like, yeah, Cleaner to me also. I mean, he's still. I know he loves Wilson time, just always dogging on his team, but and also, hey, Cleaner, we did go through your team, kind of. We're looking out there.
Yeah, you're
But yeah.
welcome for making your team better, Cleaner.
DJ Moore, dude. That DJ Moore and Nut was talking about, Nut was talking about their own trade, and I'm like, yeah, bro. Like, why did you go after him?
Hey, George Startons is it's a great name.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, so are we chalk on Cleaner,
Yep.
the cleanest?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
They're just you can't tell me otherwise. You got a man on a 7-game losing streak right now, like telling me every week. I think I've only got burnt by Trone 1 time this year. I think I'm like 6-1 when I choose against Trone. So
There you go. Good strategy.
Yeah, it's because he builds his team around those dirty ass Chiefs. That's what he did.
as you're riding one right now to win.
Yeah, as you're hoping it sticks
Yeah,
around.
and then one goes down, go trade for the other one.
I'll have to ask you off air, Diz, how you're gonna feel when Pacheco gets back and now you no longer have anybody there.
We planned for it. You ever heard of Zamir White?
Well, I've heard of him. Heard too much about him, honestly.
My favorite trade of last year of the offseason. Zamir White for what was like $3.
It was a good idea.
Scraps. It was never a good idea. For me, it might have been.
Look at this matchup.
Yeah.
Chasing Joe Dreams, riding off that high, off your high horse, if I might say, against the Globby Gooners. God, Globby's 1-9. Real bad, Globby.
Sorry, Globby. Never gonna choose you, bud.
Yeah, Sir
I'm going
Stanky, like,
COD.
yeah, I mean, I'm going. COD just took a fat dump on me like twice over, so I'm gonna go COD. Like Jamar Chase can't be stopped. Who they playing? Chargers.
learned our
I
lesson
don't care.
last
I don't
week.
care who they play.
We chose Gobby last week. We learned our lesson. Never again.
Yeah. Yeah. COD. Oh, go ahead, Diz.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say no Gooners around here. I'm going with CFD. I'm going with CFD maybe by 50 points.
Would you let a Globby Gooner in your diner?
Yeah, I would if he tipped well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we keep him near the door though, so if like people don't like him, we just kick him out.
That or near the bathroom or something, you know. Just...
Yeah.
You need to take him out back and throw him in the dumpster. That's what
Put him
needs
to work.
to happen. I will say though, COD, dude, this is probably one of your best teams, in my opinion, like ever.
Yeah,
Like the way it's
I agree. I love the way my team has come together this year. I'd love to get some more wins though. Fuck, 100 points in the last, but that's fancy, man.
It is, yeah, it's it. I know, but looking at your like squad, I mean, the construction of it, it's very aesthetically pleasing with the excitement of players on there. Like you have some electric guys. So, anyways, not stroking you off there. Freaking still gonna beat you, but in the playoffs.
It'll be more fun if I can make the playoffs this year. It'll be a long time coming.
Yeah.
Redemption.
You're on the redemption tour. Globby's going down to the sewer though, and he's just gonna keep trekking.
Yeah.
And who we have left?
That's it.
The
No.
War Machine.
No, Trey.
Yeah.
Trey, we got one more.
Hey, can't forget about the War Machine and the Jaden, who
He's
picked up
definitely
his.
not starting that Darnold though.
Yeah. Definitely not. Dude, I was looking at the leaders for running backs, and it's not even close with King Henry. Like he was at 222 points, I think, and next closest person was like 180.
I've said this multiple times and multiple. I said on Gobby Talks, I said it in the league. Maybe the worst statistical thing I've ever said in my life that he wouldn't finish in the top 5. The dude is like clear shot number 1 running back and looks literally unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean the funny part about it is like we all knew that he was on the Ravens. We're like, okay, Ravens are already good offense. Imagine him like how many TDs can get. But we're like, we're gonna not really try to go full boat for him. I think Calvin went for Bijan, who was the most highest paid, right? And it's like it's not even close right now. You know,
he does have tough matchups coming up though. If you look, like
yeah, his schedule is dog shit.
It gets harder. It gets harder for sure.
Yeah, and their offensive line's it's still not what it was before. So it'll be interesting to see because the Bengals even kept them in check for the most part. I mean, for most of that game at least.
Yeah.
Take us back to the matchup though, Dirty. Let's see here. Dude, the Jaden Daniels thing though, I mean, that could be crazy. I think that's gonna be a freaking fireworks game tomorrow
I also
night.
think Mixon will have a very, very good game.
Yeah, Joe running all over the Cowboys. It's gonna be
Woo!
It feels like Joe Mixon's a lock for 2 tutties. I don't know how Jaden hasn't won more games. I mean, I guess because he doesn't have a second running back, but
Because he's got a freaking Algier in there, the alligator, dude. God damn it. And also Jalen Waddle. He'll be one of those guys I never draft on my team ever.
No, yeah. Every year you go into the draft, they're like, dude, he might be this fucking, Tyreek's number 2. He's so good. He's an athlete. And he fucking sucks every year.
Yeah, I don't believe him. And I also am a believer in Trike's winning streak and his team. So I'm going Trike.
I'm going Trike as well. And I appreciate that Tony Pollard's name is now Pennies Equal Pack. So we're almost there.
Yeah, we'll get there sooner or later.
I feel like I gotta go Trike as well. And also, wouldn't this be the tie for the longest win streak if he wins?
It would be. Yeah.
And,
the War Machine keeps rolling, baby.
Wait, so when did Trike? So Trike lost the
week 1
of the year, right?
He lost to me week 1. That was the only loss.
And you get to face him again in week 14. There
and
you
I'll
go.
beat him because King Henry will be on bye.
Oh yeah, King Henry stepping off the throne to the
for week 14. I'm gonna go with Trike on this one. Jaden, you should trade for an RB too.
Well,
next season. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I'll just say it every week until the season's over. Just come on, baby. Get a trade in.
Yeah, that trade I was talking about with Brian was funny because once the trade deadline passed, I thought that it would just like shut it down. Nope, it was still sitting there. I was like, well, I could get a little crazy right now.
Feels like the Joker over here.
Chaos,
anarchy.
It just want to see it all burn.
Yeah.
Down with the committee. See, look at that collusion.
He's in the committee. Just more work for him.
I am in the committee.
Exactly. There's collusion in the committee. I always down with the committee.
The collusion couch with the committee. Everybody knows.
Yeah, I was gonna
too
say,
much collusion.
See, COD, that's why you can't be on that couch anymore because you're part of the committee. You need to be fair and just, and you're being bought over there.
Well, money talks, baby.
Money talks. Oh man.
You guys see what our committee is like? We need a revote.
Yeah. Well, hey, COD, it was a pleasure having you on. Thank you for shitting on me last week with one of my favorite players. So always a pleasure there. Yes. But yeah, any final thoughts?
I appreciate you boys having me here. Hope you all have a good rest of the stretch here, except for Dirty. Sorry, Dirty.
I'll root for those Steelers tomorrow.
I know. I feel like we're the only ones that respect the Steelers Raiders kind of connection we got going here. So
yeah, absolutely. We understand how things work in this world.
Couple dirty franchises.
Yeah, let's say very hardworking franchises.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, good luck the rest of the way, boys.
Yeah, you too, COD, and yeah. So here we are, boys, going to week 11. Big time matchups this week. We'll see what happens, but Nut, you're not getting me this week, bud. You're not in my head. I'll be there for you. And don't forget, boys, keep pounding that puck.
I had a stable job, but never felt a spark until I took a leap of faith to step in my car. But now I'm sleeping on cloud nine. Say that I'm childlike.